It has long been discussed in the United States what we should do about our carbon emissions and overall impact on global warming. Some people say we should use renewable resources like wind and solar, but there's not been a large-scale solution implemented in the United States. Now, according to the Energy Information Agency, only about 20% of our overall energy production comes from renewable sources like wind, solar, and hydro, but 60% still comes from fossil fuels like coal and natural gas. But what if I told you that there's an energy source out there that has zero emissions, is far more efficient and reliable than fossil fuels and renewable resources, and is already making up about 20% of our overall energy production? That's right, nuclear. I'm Zachary Johnson, and today I'm going to be talking to you about why nuclear energy should be tomorrow's clean energy source in the United States. This is something I've done extensive research on, and this is actually my third time speaking on it publicly. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about, first off, what is nuclear energy? Then I'm going to say why it's so great, and also why it isn't used more today. So, starting off, what is nuclear energy? Now, despite common belief, it isn't actually a renewable resource. According to the International Atomic Energy Association, it produces electricity through nuclear fission of uranium. Now, what this is the uranium breaking down into smaller nucleuses, and that releases energy. This energy is then used to heat up water, which produces steam and spins a turbine that creates electricity for your home. This means once a nuclear power plant is established, the only emission it has is steam, and the only byproduct it creates is nuclear waste, which I'll talk about later. So what makes nuclear energy so great? And the number one reason is its reliability. Now, the way this is measured is through capacity factor. And what that is how often is an energy production source running at peak capacity. Now, according to the U.S. Department of Energy, the capacity factor of nuclear plants is about 93.5%. That's over 90% of the time it's running at peak capacity. Now, compare that to other energy sources. It's 2 times more reliable than fossil fuels like natural gas and coal, and it's 3 times more reliable than renewable energy sources. Now, since it's so reliable, it also is very efficient. According to the Energy Information Agency, it only makes up about 9% of our overall generation capacity in the United States. But since it's so reliable and efficient, it's able to produce about 20% of our overall energy production. That means we can have less energy production plants for more electricity. Now, you might be asking, if it's so great, why aren't we using it more? Which is a fair question. And the reason is, it really just has a bad reputation. Now, when I say nuclear energy, the first thing that probably comes to mind is Chernobyl and Fukushima, 2 major meltdowns that happened in the world's history. But the truth is that despite these, nuclear is still the safest energy option out there, and since those incidents, it's gotten even safer. According to the World Nuclear Association, they're now designed with a negative temperature coefficient. And what this means is if a cooling system goes offline, instead of the plant overheating and having a meltdown, instead cools down and just stops producing electricity. This means that the chance of another nuclear meltdown happening is extremely low. Another common misconception is that it produces a large amount of nuclear waste, but this also is not true. In fact, according to the U.S. Department of Energy, if you took all of the nuclear waste produced since 1950 in the United States, it would fit in a football-sized field, only about 10 yards deep, which is extremely dense for the amount of electricity it's producing. So, today I talked about why nuclear is a great clean energy source, as well as its extreme reliability and efficiency, and also how it's the safest energy source. So I hope I've convinced you that nuclear energy is a great option for tomorrow's energy source. Now, in 2019 alone, according to the U.S. Department of Energy, nuclear produced enough energy to power 70 million homes and reduce 400 metric tons of carbon emissions in the world. Now, that's only at 20% of overall energy production in the United States. Imagine if it was 50 or 100%. Not only would we have more electricity, but we'd have a cleaner and safer world. Thank you.